Lawrence Tampa was with us, won a national title in 2013. Florida State also played on the defensive line with the Cleveland Browns. I'd ask you how you doing, but no Noles right now are doing well.
Not at all. This is a tough road that we've seen, and it seems like it's never ending at this point. So hopefully we see a turnaround here soon in some regard.
We want to talk more about what's going on with this entire football team and everything, but just real quick, how did they lose this game at Stanford where their quarterback was knocked out, their running back was out, their starting right guard was out, key members of their defense was out? How did they show up there and not score 2 touchdowns?
I think the foundation of the team was so diminished, and it wasn't very thick, but I don't think Norvell has been able to create a really good, thick foundation since that undefeated season. Mm-hmm. And when you lose to UVA, and then you lose to Pitt, then you lose to Miami, I wouldn't say guys are checked out, but guys aren't really playing for a purpose. They're playing just to play, which is not something that you can do when Stanford is trying to get a win across the country. You got to play with a purpose every time you line up.
Yeah. The unspoken word is that he's gone. He's fired, but he's going to hang on now for 6 more weeks, the bye, and then the 5 games. The announcement yesterday by athletic director Mike Alford did nothing. I'm one of those who believes, Niall, that when you're at a place like Florida State, you don't release a statement unless you're making a decision. And he did exactly that yesterday. And in my opinion, it is totally backfired.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It sucks because when you look at the situation as a whole, you would hope that to not be in this situation at all. And as we're watching it in real time, it is difficult to stomach. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to stomach that we can be in a spot and not set a standard. Though there's a bunch of situations going on, I just don't believe that we're setting the right example for what Florida State should look like. The standard should be the standard. We are not coming off of a winning season. We're coming off of a season that we won 2 games. So now we're coming into this season. It's like, what example are you setting for the organization, as well as the players, as well as the parents of the players, as well as everyone, as far as what the future holds? Hope is a very serious thing, and you cannot mess with it. And that's what I feel like they messed with when you made that statement.
13 penalties. For a second consecutive week, you jump off sides. I mean, that was it against Pitt when you jumped offside. You do so here. You have a late hit on a guy that Tony White brought over with him who hasn't made a play all year. A late hit. Those 2 turn directly into ongoing drives, which lead to 14 points. And how do you start the game with a delay of game?
Yeah.
How do you, honestly, high school teams do not start the game 1st and 10 with a delay of game. Mike Norvell's team did.
Yeah. It sucks. I really don't want to go too in on Mike. And I really like Mike, but it's starting to become difficult. But when you watch that game, you don't want to cause those issues, obviously, early on there because they're self-inflicted. But I think the biggest issue that I saw was when we forced a field goal from a redshirt freshman across the country in a hostile environment, and then get a delay of game. And you then not turn around and put your punt team in, you force it. So it just showed the desperation of what was going on with Norvell, which is difficult because the players around him are counting on him. But I think the most damning thing, and which is really disappointing and it sucks, is that Norvell has an offensive coordinator and he has a defensive coordinator. His job is to manage. Mm-hmm. He is a facilitator. So if we can't facilitate well and you have someone running your offense, you have someone running your defense, why are you here? That's your job, is to make those decisions.
Before you and I even started doing radio, I've always been very critical of Mike Norvell as a decision maker. And you just mentioned one. You asked him to kick, I think after the 5-yard penalty, a 57, 58-yard field goal. Even late when the defense finally showed up at the end of the game. Stanford pulled back. They were more generic. And Florida State's defense was doing its part. And you ask a true freshman on a 4th and 18 where Noel fans all over saying, no, you got 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Punt the football, throw your I mean, it's football 101. And they didn't do it.
Yeah, football one-on-one. And it's not like you have a offense that you're trying to help figure out, or you're having to make. This is a decision that you made. And then the second that happened, it's like, okay, your defense is already getting driven down the field, and they're not doing all that great. Let's make this a field type game. Let's control field position, and let's make those type of moves so that way we can actually survive. But it was a desperate move, and I get that he's in a desperate situation, but you would really hope that he would make a better decision there.
Niall Lawrence Stample, our guest, business owner right here in town, former Florida State Seminole, and he is our Florida State analyst. Of course, he won a national title over in God's country. Also played on the defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, you've been over there during some really good times. You're still very connected to the program. What do you think's going to happen here in the next 5.5 weeks with a lame duck coach? I think maybe a lame duck athletic director. What do you think is going to happen over there?
It doesn't look good. I don't have any good words, unfortunately, for what's going on. But what I do hope is, and I've been trying to push a lot of this on my social media, as far as, if you're not following me, follow me at Nolan with Niall on Instagram, YouTube, all of it, because I really go into some of these details. But what I really do hope is the players understand that this is no one's opportunity other than theirs. Like, this is a bunch of individual opportunities that you better take advantage of. Though there's a situation going on with the coach, we're not winning, you better put up good film. You better work hard, do the little things that are necessary in order for you to get the edge, because you are in it. You are in it. There's no coming back from that. I would like to speak on the Alabama game, if you're okay with that. I want to talk about the Alabama game because it's a very controversial game that's been bled throughout this entire season. Everyone goes back to it. And the reason why we won the Alabama game was for a few reasons. We, one, had all offseason to be able to train for it and be able to actually implement Tony White's defense to the T. So that was great. And I think that he was hoping that would catapult him into the rest of the season, which unfortunately it didn't. But we were able to game plan to the T. We had hope. The ceiling was gone. Tommy Castellanos was playing at his absolute most confident. That was bleeding through everyone. And then also we're playing in Doak, and we caught Alabama off guard. They didn't have any real film on us. They didn't see what was going on, even though, again, Gus's nature is true, so you can watch what he does, but they didn't really have any real film on us. So with all those things compiled, that's how we beat Alabama. But the fact that we could beat Alabama shows very quickly that the nature of the team has so much aptitude, so much ceiling. Because no matter what you say, Alabama was I wouldn't say a fluke game. We won that game outright. They weren't as good as they are at the moment, but that was a valid game. Any team is not beating Alabama on a regular day.
No,
on a regular day.
No, they were a sizable underdog at home, and just look how things have changed. I kept hearing, Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. He's just not a coach for Alabama. And first 3 weeks, Mike Norvell is being mentioned, maybe coach of the year, this and that, and then it's completely flipped in the last month. I mean, the odds right now in the SEC favor Alabama to win that conference.
Yeah.
That's how well they've been playing as of late.
And hey, great.
Something that I disagree with is social media is filled with don't show up, don't support, go and boo. Let's remember here, Mike Norvell failed. He didn't quit. These players, getting on them, booing them, is only going to send them out the door. Now, some you may be okay with, but there could be some good players who say, I don't want to be around this nonsense. There's only a handful of them, and they will enter that transfer portal. Florida State also needs every dollar at this point. So as down as everything is, I'm not in favor of going to Doak Campbell Stadium in 2 weeks against Wake Forest and booing the players.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I did a poll on my Instagram asking everyone, okay, so what is it that you are? Do you bleed garnet and gold? Do you like Florida State football? Do you watch it just to watch it? And everyone said they bleed garnet and gold. That is your answer. This is your lifestyle. You are a Seminole. So through the good and the bad, if we won all the time, I will say, unfortunately, even though you think it would be great, it would be boring. The reason why you play the game is because you have a chance of losing. It may not be in the back of your mind that you're thinking about that, but that's really what it is. Because if it was a guaranteed win, no one would watch it. So we have to watch these games and make sure that we're pouring into all of these players. These players mean something. The organization and everyone that pours into them means something. And that's where you get some of the better recruitments. And that's where you get some of that. Those half the players that you talk about recruiting said, I came to the campus and it was just so amazing. The fans were so amazing. The atmosphere was so amazing. There's so much more to the recruitment that people realize than just face value. So supporting is going to be extremely important, making sure that we're pouring into them, making sure that we're coming to these games and showing that no matter thick and thin, we are going to be Seminoles every single day of the week.
Massive changes to the stadium, incredible amounts of money thrown in there. The new standalone building, there were photos and videos that came out yesterday where they introduced that to the players and their new locker room. How much does that matter to today's players, considering they're getting paid?
I think it matters a ton. I think it matters more now than it did before because social media has made it very much a who's got what situation. So when you're looking at it and you're looking at everyone's highlight reel on their social media and you're seeing it's just all competition. So when it comes to recruiting, that stuff matters. When it comes to the players' lifestyle and the luxuries that they have, they're very small, few and far between. But I'm telling you, if you have a facility like that they can focus on and things that they have that they can create and build that bond, and another school doesn't have it, you're going to be that much better. So it does matter, and I'm happy that they got it right now. It kind of sucks because everybody's been saying it kind of sucks because they don't deserve it and this and that. This is a great opportunity for them to be able to get away from everyone and see if they can refocus, because there's really not a ton of upside to this season. So let's see what we can do, and a change of scenery can may be able to create that.
I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few fires over there in the next month and some change. We're just going to see how they put them out. Again, I totally disagree with the statement yesterday by the athletic director, and I hope they don't screw up the next search. I thought they screwed up the last one. They allowed him to coach that meaningless conference championship game, Memphis against Cincinnati, and it cost them a recruiting class, in my opinion. No, don't make the same mistake twice. Identify who your coach is and bring him in immediately. So that's going to be, and you know what? Penn State, Florida, Vatech, UCLA, Stanford, Oklahoma State. There's a ton of jobs open this year.
Yeah, there's a ton of jobs because college football is changing, and it doesn't change. It doesn't change immediately. You're going to see kind of a delay in what's going on, and it's showing. And who can actually adapt, who can figure it out, is going to make it to the top. And unfortunately for Norvell, he just wasn't able to figure it out. I hope that we can figure out how to get ourselves out of the hole we put ourselves in.
Arkansas is on that list, and heck, Auburn could open, LSU could open. Who knows when it's all said and done? Anything I didn't mention that you want to put out there?
No, I think what I did like was I saw Kevin Wynn out there, and he made some plays. He was able to get a batted ball and push back.
Well, there's a guy you can't lose.
You can't lose Kevin Wynn, especially he's a Seminole. Like he wanted to go to Florida State. He's very happy being a Florida Seminole. It's a Florida State Seminole. I'm just hoping that it doesn't become a forced situation. Sometimes there comes a time to where they don't have a choice but to leave. I hope that we didn't make that choice here. So I love seeing Kevin Wynn. I love seeing some of the younger players that we saw this past game. I saw a bunch of good things on film as far as players actually having individual really good efforts. And I think that if we can, if Tony White can figure something out and Gus Malzahn can figure something out, we could possibly get this going. But again, I just don't see the real value on going on with Norvell, seeing as his main job is facilitating and he's not doing it well. Yeah. So it's tough to say, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, listen, I think even if they won 5 in a row and ended 8-4, that he can't survive this. And
no,
I just don't. And again, let's be realistic. He hasn't won on the road since Ronald Reagan was president. He's not going to knock off NC State on a Friday night, going to Clemson or going to Florida. He's not going to win those games.
Yeah. It's tough.
You're a business owner here in town. You've done great work on My Home. Tell us about NLS Cleaning.
Yeah, NLS Cleaning. We do exterior pressure washing, gutter cleaning, paver sealing and repair. Give us a call. We do commercial, residential. Let us know if we can help and be of any service. The number is 904-708-8802. That's 904-708-8802. And you can reach out to us on our website as well at nlscleaning.net. We have a bunch of pictures, a bunch of cool information for you guys to look at. But yeah, let us know how we can help you.
Always a pleasure now.
Yes, sir, Rick.
There he goes. Now Lawrence Stample, our Florida State analyst.
Rick Ballou here. Thank you so much for watching 1010XL Seminoles on YouTube. Before you click away, please like and subscribe to this channel. Be sure to check out other team-specific channels on 1010XL Network and YouTube.